Hello, everyone. Welcome to 360 Degrees Excellence, where we believe everyone can achieve all-round success. Today, I'm going to be having a conversation with Dr. Odunayo Margaret Olanrewaju. I'm going to be speaking about the importance of self-love. Self-love, which comprises of self-awareness, self-care, and other two important attributes are very, very important. They are important for us to have wellness. They're important for us to live intentionally. Even God said that love your neighbor as yourself. So if you don't love yourself, it's not possible to love others. It's not possible for you to really obey that scripture. So today I have someone that has written a book. You are so pretty. And I'm sure she knows about self-love. She knows the importance of self-love, which can also affect how you see yourself, which can also affect your self-esteem, which can also affect your self-worth, which can also affect your self-confidence. So we're talking about what is important for a lot of young people today. And if you have self-love, you can really, you'll be at peace with yourself, with your environment, and with people. It's very, very important. It's vital to achieve excellence in life and to be all that God has called you to be. So without wasting time, let's dig in. So the first question I'm going to be asking is from my guest, Dr. I want her to tell us about herself, who is she, what does she do, and every other thing she may want to share with us. Over to you, Doc.
Thank you so much, Prof, for having me in this impactful show. I've actually been following most of your shows, and I could see that it's quite impactful. And for people that are questing for more knowledge, is a good channel for us to subscribe and follow. Actually, I'm Dr. Odunayo Margaret Olanrewaju. I'm based in South Africa. I am from Ekiti in Nigeria. I have all my degrees in accounting, and I'm the last born of my family. I'm married with children, and I'm presently an academic, and I lecture at Durban University of Technology in the Department of Management Accounting. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You have an impressive CV. You are a chartered accountant. You qualified for, chartered accountant, professional body in Nigeria, in UK, in United States of America, and you've published a lot. Sometimes I wonder how have you been able to do this thing? You're also a married woman. You're happily married. And how have you been able to manage all those things? How have you been able to do everything together,
Thank you so much, Prof, for the question. It's actually a question that those who knows about my age usually ask me. But to start with, I will say let's give all the glory to God, because He's the one who waters, who brings increase. Even though we put our effort, it can only be achievable if God is in it. So I'm returning all the glory back to God. But to be factual with you, if I'm going to answer that question, I'm in my early 30s. So people usually ask me, how have you been able to do all this with marriage and children and with all this? The first thing is, as anybody who wants, I won't say a lady now, any young one who wants to make impact, the first thing you should do is to have inner drive. Inner drive. This inner drive can be, it can be because of your background, it can be because of your environment, it can be because of your society, but there must be something pushing you. Then if you identify something that is driving your actions and your pursuit in life, then you are sure that you are ready to pay every price to get there. So if there is nothing driving you, it's possible for you to quit and give up on the way. But if there's something you've identified, you see, all the talks I give round in my project, I usually end it by saying, be the change you want to see. You know your family, you know your environment, you know what you don't like about it. Then be the change you would have loved to see. So I think what has really helped me is I've seen some things that I wanted to really bring some changes or another direction in it. So that's actually my own major inner push. So when I've identified, I identified that through the grace of God while I was still, I think, in secondary school. Even though I don't know how it will come to pass, how I will be able to go into academics, I usually ask myself, why is it that in my family I don't know anybody who's a professor? It's an inner question. So I usually ask myself, okay, how can I get there? And when I got to I started from Polytechnic. So that thing followed me to the Polytechnic. And while others are sleeping, I will always stand up to read. I read a lot. I study a lot. So that people will always look at me, what is wrong with this lady? Why are you always studying as if you are not normal, you are not part of this world? I know what I've identified and I know where I wish to get to. So that has been the motivating force. And the other thing for young people to if they wish to accommodate or anything they identify they want to achieve. I've seen that so many young people, they have goals, but they can't sacrifice to get to where they want to get to. To achieve your goals, you must be able to think uniquely. You see, you must be able to plan. If you fail to plan, you have planned to fail. And I used to say, if you've identified the purpose of God for your life and you are not achieving that purpose, you are failing already. So it's possible for you to be rich and still be failing. That's to me. So if you must be able to pay the price, sacrifice some things to be able to pursue your goals. At times, people might think you are over ambitious. They might think you are on the excess side, and why are you thinking that way? But you have the inner drive, and your inner drive is unique to you. You've seen what you've identified. Then the last point I want to talk about is being able to multitask. Being able to multitask. You see, I'm someone who loves to do about 2 or 3 things together at a time. And people used to wonder, I might be reading a student's thesis, I might be listening to a program and be doing other things. So ability to multitask will also help us to be able to achieve that. So I think what has really helped me this far, even though I'm still on the journey, I used to tell my students I'm still studying the way they are studying. And that's the fact. I'm still on the journey and I'm still hoping for a brighter future. But what I think has helped me this far, if I would advise my young girl, is identify the inner drive. Identify the inner drive to your destiny. Thank you, Prof.
Fantastic. Inner drive. I like that. Very, very important. And you also mentioned the importance of sacrifice. You know, young people must be disciplined. If you have a dream, go for your dream, do your part, and also trust God. Very, very important. You know, you've also published a book. You know, I like academics that don't only focus only on their discipline alone. I want people to read a lot, not only about your discipline, because when you're an academic, you're a leader. So you should not only be focusing on your discipline alone. You want to have, you know, wide view, you know, that is, you know, all encompassing. Is very, very important. So when I saw your book, I was excited. Titled, "You Are So Pretty, Richly Endowed by God." Can you tell us why you wrote that book and what's it about?
To answer your question, Prof, I will take you back to the fact that we are both academics, but I view a lecturer or an academic job as a ministry. That is why, as a lecturer, you mustn't be too strict. You mustn't build your bridge in such a way that people will not be able to approach you if you view it as a ministry. I've had series of encounters with my students, both in Nigeria and in South Africa. And I've discovered that I think God is calling me beyond going to class to teach accounting. God is really placing me in an office, or is just setting me apart to be able to touch lives. I used to ask myself, how many times have I carried my Bible and I've started preaching around the street? I might not be able to do that, but God has given me a platform to reach out to many souls. And as an academic, if they know that you are genuine, you know what you're saying. If you advise people, if you show people the way, they are ready to follow. So the genesis of the book will take me about 2 or 3 minutes to explain. I was about to go to class in my former universities in Nigeria. I was about to go to a class for my lecture, I think on a Monday morning. And I was so troubled in my heart from home. I was telling my husband, I'm getting something like, I'm so pretty. I just told him, I'm so pretty. He was just laughing that, what is this woman saying again this morning? So as I was driving to the university, it was around, I think it was around the beginning of the year. I was driving to the class and God was just telling me, when you get to the class this morning, you know, when you get to the class, students will be expecting you to start writing and go to the business of the day. So I just got to the class and that team told me to tell my student, I'm so pretty, myself. So I got to the class and I told them, you guys, you know what will happen this morning. I want to introduce myself to you. This is Margaret. This is Mrs. I was not a doctor then. This is Mrs. Olarewaju. Do you guys know that I'm so pretty? And the whole class, in fact, everything just got scattered. They were just laughing and I couldn't even understand what was the meaning. And okay, I just said, okay, I've told you I'm so pretty. They say, yes. Some people will say, what is this? You know, in the class, some people will be like, what is this woman saying again? So after the class, we had our class successfully. And after the class, I just saw some ladies coming to my office. They came to my office and they came one by one. They said they want to see me. What do you want to see me for? Okay, come in. I thought it would be question relating to what I've taught in class. They just busted into tears. Do I know that what I told them the other time really touched them, that it is possible for a lady to just be bold and be sure that she has something, that she's pretty. So I now said, why are you crying? And the lady told me how she had a boyfriend and the boyfriend impregnated her. And in that process of trying several methods of aborting, she lost her womb and all that. Had the ectopic pregnancy, lost her womb. And this guy went about the hostel making jest of her around the campus. It's actually a pathetic story. And I didn't know that was the reason, among many others, why God said I should say that. So since then, I started counseling the lady, and you want to kill yourself, please don't kill yourself. That's not the end of this. You can still make it. I just tried to encourage this lady. So during this period that I'm in South Africa too, I'll just sit down in the office. Even though there is language barrier and I'm still new, at least I don't think I've spent 3 years in the university, I will be in my office and students will come, ladies, they will come crying, real tears. When they leave my office, at times I will also burst into tears that, God, this is beyond academics, this is beyond accounting. I think you are calling me into touching these people's lives. So the latest one that touched me, that I think God had mercy on me to be able to know what to do, to really touch more lives, was that late last year, a student just walking into my office and opened up to me that she's just a victim of rape. That now she just had it in her mind. The student is not from my department, it's from another department. She said she just led to me that she should go and tell me she wants to kill herself. I was like, what? Do you know me before? She said she has been seeing me. Even though we are not in the same department, I've not taught her before, that she has been seeing me and she just wants to share with me before she kills herself. And that day I now knew that if this lady kills herself, won't God hold me responsible? That did I touch this life? So I was bitter that day, and throughout the entire week, I was not myself. I was just telling God, God, there are so many other students that will not be able to come to me. You know, some students, they will still fear their lecturers. They won't be able to open up. Then thousands of this lady might be in this school, and they will not be able to come to me to express their mind. I was just, okay, I was praying to God, God, give me direction. I don't know what to do to attend to this issue, but I know this is beyond accounting. And during this lockdown, I was just at home, and I was listening. There was one daily program I used to listen to since we are on level 5 lockdown. I was lost listening to that program in the afternoon. So one day after that program, the memory of this first event in the Nigerian university just came back. I was seeing the picture as if it's just happening again. So I was just saying, what is this again? Why am I going back to this memory? Why is this thing coming back to me? And I just walked into my husband in the room. I said, this thing is coming back again. I think this is just a message. So he just said, anything that is coming back to you, can't you just be putting it down? If it is a message and you can just write it and send it to your class rep to distribute just free of charge. So, and before looking at the book, before coming down and sitting on my laptop, putting it down, typing, I've typed 38 pages. So I just told my husband, I said, this is just a book. I've typed 38 pages about things, building self-esteem in ladies, telling ladies of God potentials in them. There is no limitations upon their life. And to call it this whole story short, that was what brought about You Are So Pretty. And I wanted to know, Prof, that the testimonies, the feedbacks I've got from the book, I used to thank God that I wrote the book. If I've not obeyed, I know God will have looked for an alternative, because that was a message he really wanted to pass across that time. Thank you so much, Prof.
Thank you. I mean, thank God that you obeyed God and you wrote that book. It's a very, very important book for ladies to read. You know, I remember one book that was written by TDJ's Women That Are Loosed. You know, a lot of women need to know that they are pretty, they are made in the image of God, they are wonderfully, and is it they are beautifully and wonderfully made, God said something like that, you know. So that's a fantastic book. And I know that the book will continue to sell. It will continue to be a blessing to a lot of ladies. And I'm sure more are coming. I'm going to still write more books. Lord will give you wisdom to do that. And you have this power, this ability to multitask. So more books are coming. Last Sunday was International Day for the Girls. A lot of ladies wrote a letter to themselves, a message to my 15-year-old self. I came across one that was written by J. Mohammed, Deputy Secretary of UN, who also happens to be a Nigerian. She said a letter titled, "Be fearless, stay curious. Education would be, a way for you to achieve your dream." I just want to ask you, just want to tell us, what's the letter that you will have written to your 15-year-old self? Can you just share with us?
Thank you so much, Prof. So simple. I will just write to myself, be resilient in the pursuit of your goals and see wonderful and amazing achievements come your way.
Fantastic. I like that. You must be resilient. Because when we are resilient, we can pursue. God even told David, David, something happened to him at Siglag, and an enemy came. They took his wife. They took the wives of his men. They took their children, and they wanted to stone David. Those people wanted to stone David. And Bible said David encouraged himself in the Lord, and David went to pray, and God told him, to pursue, and that he will overtake and he will recover. I mean, that's resilience. Yeah. And David pursued them. He overtook them and recovered everything. Nothing was missing. So we must be resilient. We must not give up. We must have this, spirit of endurance. I was also reading about that this morning. Very, very important. I like that. Resilience is very, very important. Somebody sent a question. I'll even call it 4 questions in one to me. Let me just read the questions that the person sent. How do you build self-confidence? What exactly is self-love? How does it affect one's self-esteem? Are they the same? I'm sure you got the questions.
Yeah,
Okay.
I got it. It's, what is self-love? Is self-love the same with self-esteem? How do you build confidence? Then which one?
Yeah.
What's the fourth one?
Okay, I think that's okay. How does it affect one's self-esteem? How does self-love affect one's self-esteem?
I would like to say that if you want to go far in life, you need those 4 things or 3: self-love, self-esteem, and self-confidence. Why do I say this? You need the right emotions to have the right motion. You need the right emotions to have the right motion. You talked about David just now. You said David encouraged himself. David loved himself.
Yeah.
Self-love. So what is, let me first start by saying self-love is having high regard for your own self and for your happiness. So I know there are so many meanings to self-love. To me,
Yeah.
I'm giving the definition to me and how this has really helped me. So self-love is a gift and is not a choice. It's a choice rather, and is not a gift. You need to choose it. You just need to choose your happiness and give yourself good regard. This is not selfishness. This is not pride. So I will still go to self-esteem because some people used to take timidity as humility. I'm still going to explain that under self-esteem. So when you have self-love, it's just that you are not placing your joy and happiness in mortal men. So you are not allowing mortal man to determine your mood or your joy, because you need to be happy before you can gain strength to pursue your goals. So that was why I said you need the right emotion to gain the right emotion to pursue. So you should know, if you want to have self-love, you should have at the back of your mind that you cannot please everyone. That's the first thing you need to know. And the second thing is that everybody cannot approve what you are doing. Everybody can't be pleased with you. So I've seen that this is the major weakness of many young ladies. You want people to approve what you do. You want people to approve your life. Only God can approve one's life. So if you have not placed your life in the hand of mortal man, you will love yourself. And you really need to love yourself. It's a choice. Nobody can give you this love. You need to really choose to love yourself. And you should also understand, lastly, under self-love, that every level of achievement has its own attached stress, struggle, and troubles. Don't think, okay, I've gotten to this level, then I'm okay, there can't be trouble, nobody can hate me. So your ability to have regard for yourself and never to joke with your happiness, never to lose your happiness to anything, is self-love. If I'm saying this, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be able to try to take risk. I'm not saying that. Those that are very close to me knows that where I am speaking today is because of risk taking. It's a product of resilience, and it's a product of self-love, even though we are under the grace of God. But we are talking that we are making it practical now, that as ladies or as young people, we need to really love ourselves. And how can you love yourself? Is giving yourself high regard for your happiness, and ensure that you don't joke, you don't allow anybody to take away your happiness. If I'll move to self-esteem, now self-esteem brings about more self-love. They all work together.
Yeah, they're all related.
They are all related. So if you really need the three to go far beyond the ordinary. If you want to do the extraordinary things in this world, you want to really make impact, you want to break chains, you want to break barriers, you want to do things that no one has done before. You really want to hit what you want, your goal, and make it, making impact is beyond being able to feed my children and being able to feed my family. We are talking about people that have not even seen you before being blessed by your life. That is making impact. So now self-esteem means, to me, self-esteem has several meanings, but to me, self-esteem is your expression of God potentials to the fullest, without any limitation, without allowing anybody to bury them. Your ability to express God's potential in any platform, among any people, any gathering, any platform, anywhere you find yourself, your ability to say, this is who I am, is what is called self-esteem. And what you are is the potentials of God in you revealed to men. So you really need this to make impact in life. Without self-esteem, you will just think you are inferior to others. And this has caused envy, has caused bitterness. When people are doing what you cannot do, instead of you to brace up and face your journey, you think anything they do is to attack you. That's low self-esteem. So you need high self-esteem to even live righteously. That is, it's in different phases. It's a very deep topic that if we continue to dig into it, it branches into so many areas. So if I will go to self-confidence, how can you build self-confidence? To build self-confidence, with what I've said, the first thing is to first love yourself, self-love. Express your self-esteem. Don't accept that if you are timid, that makes you humble. There are times you need to speak out. Yeah, you just need to express yourself and let people know with humility. Let people know what you stand for. So how can you build self-confidence? Experience with one of the big four auditing firms in Nigeria. I graduated with a first class, and the expectation was so high from Obafemi Awolowo University. And this first class was not just 4.5 in Nigeria. I graduated with almost 4.7. So mere looking at my transcript alone for application to job, if you see A, the questions you will ask this kind of candidate in any interview will be more, you'll be expecting much from such candidate. And this auditing firm, I wrote their test, first, second, third, test that people normally will not pass. I cleared it with good points. So I traveled from Ekiti, we were based in Ekiti, to Lagos. I was there, I went for the interview, I dressed up for the interview. And now you that you've passed stage 1, 2, 3 of a test, is it interview that should be a problem for you to answer, to tackle? So on the interview there, I just discovered that they asked me what's my name, and I couldn't even say I'm Odunayo. It was that bad. I couldn't say my name completely. I couldn't mention my surname. I couldn't spell my first name correctly. And, I was so ashamed of myself, and I can never forget that event. And that event, I know God used it. Some things will happen to us in life for God to prepare us for where we are going. I think God used that scenario to build me to at least be what I am today through the grace of God. So if you want to really build self-confidence, I just said that to make it more practical. one thing you need to first do is to identify that you lack self-confidence. You know, when I finished that interview that day, on my way back to my brother-in-law's house in Lagos, my husband started calling, how was it? I told my husband there was a problem, and that problem was me. I'm the problem myself, that I'm going to explain to him what really happened. That this one is not any problem from anywhere, that I think I'm the problem, that I'm going to explain to him that I've identified my problem. So we must first acknowledge that we lack self-confidence, or we don't have it to the fullest. So when I got home, I returned back to Ekiti, dejected, fine, but I'm such a person, resilient with where I'm going. I won't give up. I told my husband when I got home, I said, this is the problem. I can't speak, I can't face people and talk. I lack self-confidence. And we were both discussing, okay, how can we solve this problem now since you identify? So I told him every morning I'll be presenting to him. So when we wake up, I have to just give him 5 minutes presentation every morning. And we started doing that. I discovered that with what is pushing me, I started with inner pursuit. I was just not happy with myself, that what is really this? Will this one limit what I've told God that I would love him to make me to achieve in life? So I told him, I said, I think this relationship will not allow you to be able to correct me very well, since you are my husband. That how I will get out of this issue is I will be giving testimonies in church every Sunday. So let me face these people, because you are not the one that will be interviewing me. You could see I identified my problem. I look for ways of coming out of this issue. That was how I started giving testimonies in church every Sunday. The first day I would give testimonies was as if I would fall down on the altar. But gradually, I just discovered that I'm getting used to it, and I'm coming out of it. Now what gets me into academics? Immediately, I think about four months after that event, I just got an opening that there's an academic position in the former university. And you have to be able to present and do this interview if you want to. So I didn't know that this event that occurred was just used by God to prepare me for what he really wants. You see, to cut the whole story short, I went for that interview for the academic job. I was the first. In fact, in my department, the person that came to me, the second person to me, it wasn't a small girl. Let me just put it like that. So building self-confidence, you must first identify that you lack it, or you are not really good at it. Then look, divine means of getting out of this. How can you get out of this menace, of this problem? You yourself, be true to yourself. You are the one that can really help yourself. There are things that you think you cannot do. Look for a gathering. Be looking for opportunity to address people. Be looking for opportunities to talk. You will make mistake, fine, but ensure that nothing is stopping you. Then the last point I will say is, don't allow any outcome to now kill the further outcomes of your life. That experience with auditing firm, if I've allowed that alone to kill what God has in mind for me, if I've not divine means, we can pray, but we need to walk and pray. Divine means, and don't allow anything to stop you. And to really go in far in life, you need to really come out of that. Self-confidence, being able to speak out your mind with humility, and not taking no for an answer. Very important. Not taking no for an answer. That doesn't mean you are rude. No. With humility, you can prove your point and make your point known. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You learned from your mistake after attending the interview, and you didn't do it. You learned from your mistake. And I think that's one of the ways to build self-confidence, learning from mistakes. Somebody said there can never be real freedom unless there's freedom to fail. And you see, even those that have self-confidence, they are not afraid of failure. If I make a mistake, no problem, no big deal, I'm human.
Learn from it.
Learn from it. Don't be afraid of mistakes. And another thing that I try to do sometimes when when you have been talking in public, sometimes you still want to have this fear. There's this fear of standing before a crowd. Somebody said after fear of death, that's the next thing, standing before a crowd. And I always tell people, prepare hard. Then after you are prepared, this is what I do. Sometimes when I go to international, fora to speak, I write something on my palm. You're a child of God. Go for it. When I write that thing, it's like something, there's a kind of confidence that just comes from another place because I know I'm a child of God. God is with me. I'm not alone. And, and I'm sure Timothy had a problem with timidity, when Paul wrote to him, he said, God has not given you the spirit of fear or timidity. God has given you the spirit of power, of sound mind, of love. Especially if you're a child of God, you must be bold. And another thing I tell them, I have the spirit of God. If you have the spirit of God, it's the spirit of power. And another thing that just coming to my mind now is that, another important attribute of self-love is self-worth. We must understand that our self-worth is not based on how much money we have in our bank account. It's not based on our degrees. It's not based on how beautiful we are. It's based on the fact that we are children of God. We are made in the image of God. Once that is settled, that is where your self-worth is based, and even your self-love is based, I think you can just go and sleep. You can become the best God has determined you to be. You can reach your maximum potential. Knowing that God is with you, you are made in the image of God. Powerful, response from you there.
That was why I defined my own self-esteem as your ability to express God's potential.
Absolutely, I like that. Yeah, God's potential. As children of God, we are blessed people. My channel is not I'm not a pastor. I'm just dosing. I'm a lecturer, and I like empowering people. But I just like to use this opportunity. Is anybody watching us and is not born again? I just want to encourage you that Jesus is the only way to God. Jesus gives you liberty in life to be all that you have been called to be. Jesus does not put you under bondage. Jesus wants you to be free to be all what God has called you to be, and is the only way to God. Thank you. You've really given, a lot of things. You spoke from your heart to us. I mean, telling us your example. And I'm sure the lady that asked that question is going to be, blessed by your response. Just want to ask you this last question. What's your closing remark today?
Well, my closing remark is to tell everyone watching me. Well, I said I have passion for youth, so maybe I should direct it to youth. Anybody that is below my age, let me just put it like that. That the journey to the top is not a game of chance. The journey to the top is not a game of chance. You climb the ladder of success gradually and consistently. So why am I saying this? Prepare yourself. Identify your goals and be able to sacrifice to pursue that goal with resilience and all your might. And finally, commit your ways into the hands of the Lord. He's the only one who can ensure that those dreams come to reality. He's the only one who can ensure that you can't serve God and fail. So that is why, apart from running the race, apart from setting the goals, as you are doing that, please don't cut corners. Run with God. Run with God. You can't neglect him. Psalm 34 verse says, commit your ways unto the Lord. Trust in him, and he shall bring it to pass. So commit your ways unto the Lord. Trust in him. Run your race. Don't cut corners. Move consistently. You shall see it coming to pass. And the last one is love yourself. Don't hate yourself. If you don't celebrate yourself, love yourself. If you don't love yourself, nobody can love you because you will not be lovable. So love yourself, celebrate your win, and love your journey. You are making progress. Love your journey. Run your race at God's pace. You are making progress. Gradually, you'll get there. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Celebrate yourself. Celebrate yourself. Powerful. You know, another attribute of self love that just came to my mind is self care. We must care for ourselves. Take care of yourself. Eat well, dress well, look your best. You know, be happy. You know, it's very, very important. Thank you so much, Doc, for
Thank you,
taking
Prof.
time out of your busy schedule to do this interview with me. I'm very grateful. I appreciate what you've
Thank you.
been able to do today and being able to give, to us. And I'm sure that what you're doing, you're doing the right thing. A lot of young people need this type of message. And I know that God will help you to finish strong. God will help you to work strong as
Amen.
you do what you're doing. Uh,
Amen.
God bless you. To our viewers,
Thank you so much.
you've heard it all from Dr. Odunayo, Margaret Olanrewaju. She has said it. I don't want to add anything. But the only thing I just want to add is this, that for us to have self-love, we must believe what God says about us. Scripture says our body is the temple of God. You must see your body as the temple of God. Use it to glorify God. Because if you mess up your body, if you do what God does not want you to do with it, you're not going to have self-love. You're going to have guilt. You're going to lose your self-esteem. You're going to lose your self-confidence. So it's very, very important for us to see our body as a temple of God and to glorify God in our body. I'm sure and I hope you've been blessed one way or the other today. Thank you so much. See you next time. God bless you. Bye.